Hey everyone, today I want to show you my 240,000 drops per hour roots and fungus farm. Now this is basically the same idea as a flower farm, because when you bone meal the nylium, which is either the crimson or the warped nylium, you can actually spread fungus and roots, and well, you can make some pretty insane farms with that. So I'm just going to show you. Right now it's off, but I just turned it back on. It needs a little time to turn back on because of the pulse extender. But as you can see, it will indeed farm these at a very high rate. Of course, it eats through bone meal like any other flower farm. And after a certain cycle, usually it will be 5 stacks, the shifting floor will stop and all the drops will get flushed. And these cycles are 134 seconds. So every 134 seconds you will get about 9,000 items, which is a lot of fungus and roots. And the cool thing is that you do get fungus of both types, even if you only bone meal one type of nylium. As you can see, the farm will stop and everything will get flushed, and once it's flushed out, the farm will start back up again. And there is no bone meal waste with this, because the bone meal only gets consumed when all of the water is gone. So the etho hopper clock has a total of 5 stacks of items in it, and then the pulse extender will last for about 6 seconds, and that results in a 134 second cycle. And yeah, I think 9,000 items in that amount of time is pretty insane. And that leaves us with 240,000 items per hour. Because this produces such an absurd amount of drops, you're also going to need a absolutely gigantic storage system. So as you can see, that was one cycle, and I can't pick all of that up in creative, it's all going to disappear. So if I just go in survival, yeah, that's a lot of items, and it's just everywhere. I believe it is about 5 chests, so that is 2.5 double chests, which is pretty insane, and as you can see, it just keeps coming in. Now, while this farm is pretty cool in itself, of course you might have some issues with getting all the collection set up with that amount of items all at once. And while it is doable, some people might prefer not to do it like that. So what you can actually do is have less items in there, because the bone meal efficiency will not decrease with less items in there. It will only be on a faster cycle, and that means more time is taken up for the collection per hour. And well, it will not decrease bone meal efficiency, but it will decrease overall drops you get in 1 hour. But that is not too much of a problem, honestly, because the output is just absolutely crazy. The lowest you can put these amounts of items is a total of 32 items. I think you could even go a little lower, but the total amount of time that the water is present means that you can't go too low, or else it will basically be very not efficient at all. So what I would recommend is just having 5 stacks total, which is the maximum capacity for an etho hopper clock. And well, if that doesn't suit you, you can go down to 32 items. If you would like less of the blue drops that are in this farm, you can also, of course, replace all of the warped nylium with crimson nylium, and this farm will work the exact same. So we can just turn that on. Let's wait for the pulse extender to decay. And well, the water will disappear, and it will start producing all of the drops, and it will run on the exact same cycle, and of course also eat through the same amount of bone meal. The drops per hour are pretty much identical for this one, except you will get different drops, because unlike with the warped stuff, there is only one type of cover, so there isn't the roots and the nether sprouts, I believe. Let me see if that's called like that. Yes, nether sprouts. So there is only the crimson roots. The crimson sprouts don't exist. There's only the nether sprouts, which is the blue sprouts. And you will of course get crimson fungus and warped fungus. In fact, even if you use warped nylium instead of the crimson nylium, you will also get crimson fungus and warped fungus. But of course you will get more of the same color of fungus that you are farming at the moment. Oh, and if you're wondering, when bone mealing a piece of nalium, it will spread in a 7x7 area centered on the nalium that you are bone mealing. And that is how this works. And of course, this is 8x7 because one of the rows will not be available because the floor is being pushed back and forth to actually break the roots, the nether sprouts, and the funguses. Alright, I'm just going to show you how to build this, although this is only a showcase, because, well, the nether update is not out and things might break. So you're just going to want to go at 7 from the edge of a chunk border, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Break all of those blocks, and just place 2 droppers, 1 dispenser, observer facing down, and redstone dust. Have 2 hoppers like this, because you do need a double speed input for the droppers. Then grab either your warped or crimson nalium, put 1 nalium on there and go at 4 on the side with the observer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on that side 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you're just going to go out by 3 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and fill in the rest. Now put a row of solid blocks or glass, I'm just going to put glass, on either side. Then have honey and slime alternating. This is so that the push limit doesn't interfere. Just like that. And you're going to have sticky pistons directly up against that on this side. And you want them spaced out by 1 block on the other side, because those are going to be extended later. Next up, go to the back side and just place 8 dispensers facing all up. Place some leaves on top. This is going to waterlog the leaves. Place some observers facing down. Then you need some solid blocks. And what you need then is some rails. We're going to put them on top. We're not going to put anything into the dispensers yet. And then just put 3 blocks of glazed terracotta on this side. And 2 like that on this side. And then you're just going to want to cover the following area with glass. So just cover all of that with glass, because we are going to have some circuits on top. Then just put 1 more block of glass here. This is important so that we don't power the rails. And then just put some glazed terracotta like this. We need terracotta because, of course, these are going to be extended. And if we don't have terracotta there, it's going to pull the glass, which is not good. And then we're just going to start on our main circuit. So you're just going to want to leave 1 block of space above the rails. And then make a 2x4 area. Have some dust in all of these positions, and you want some comparators like this. This is of course our pulse extender. Have a solid block right here. Then you're going to have 1 sticky piston like this. 1 solid block. Some more solid blocks. You want a torch right here. A repeater. 2 dust. And 1 more repeater right here. Next up, just place some solid blocks like this. 1 observer. Put a repeater on vortex like this, and a lever on top. And this, by the way, is the toggle for your farm. This will turn off the clock. Now just go on the side with the torch and put some redstone dust like this. And on the other side where the repeater is, put some more redstone dust like this. And when you will turn it off, this will indeed toggle the entire thing. Takes a while, but as you can see, it does indeed start shifting the floor, and the observer underneath detects the shifting floor and fires the dispenser accordingly. Just turn that back off, and we're just going to build our etho hopper clock. So just have 1 normal piston like this, another normal piston like this, redstone block, 2 solid blocks, comparator and a comparator, 2 redstone dust. And then just have some hoppers facing into each other. And then take 5 stacks of junk items of your choice. These have to be 64 stackable for the proper timings. Just fill all of them in there and you're almost done. We're just going to go 1 block lower from this edge and have 8 ice. And then just have some glass. You're just going to put a water source at the very end. And we can expand this even further by 9 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bottom to prevent the water from flowing out. And what you can have then is some more glass. And this will be going into whatever storage you have. Of course, you can start from right here. And for your last step, just turn it back on. Wait until the pulse extender expires. And once it does, we're going to go down here and put a bucket of water in every single one of those dispensers. That is a total of 8 water buckets. Just turn it back off, and as you can see, all of the water will dispense. It will waterlog the leaves, and then your farm is ready to use. So let's just get some bonemeal. Let's smack all of it in there, and let's turn it back on. And because it's so loud, I'm just going to distance myself. Let's wait for it to expire. And there we go, look at it, it's farming like crazy. Because otherwise the observer will have trouble detecting the shifting floor properly because it goes across a chunk border. And yeah, that's why it's important to have this chunk aligned. And yeah, however, this is subject to breaking in future betas, although I think this will probably work in the stable release. Alright, this is pretty much everything I have to show. I hope you think this is cool, and maybe if the Nether update, when it is officially out, right now it is in the betas, hopefully this is also very useful if you actually decide to build it. But with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Maybe consider subscribing, because I do keep interesting content like this coming out on a regular basis. But with that being said, bye!